Yes, welcome everyone to the meeting of meetings. It is the meeting of all meetings, the one that controls everything. Or, more accurately, a discussion of what our side meetings discussed. Regarding the impromptu adventure meeting, it was pretty much just one major subject that kind of devolved into some side subjects, but overall, we ended up determining that the course of action, as you can probably see from the vote that was pinned in the meeting notes, that games should be held as previously, designed to be, where it's a standard game style, no theater of the mind, but encounters for RP events could be a possibility. We were going into a lot of the assistant GM role as well, but we didn't have enough time, so that is going to be pushed on to Monday's meeting. It was pretty focused, a lot of discussing back and forth, but that is the gist of what we discussed. Anything of note from the other departments?
One of the other major things we talked about was the renown influence stuff, which the write-up is completed for, mostly.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is that in political, for the most part, we just kind of discussed that. Though we did have the general consensus of, I'm not looking at anything until I have a write-up. Put it in words, goddammit. Yep. You can talk my ear off until the end of the earth. I won't care. Write it down.
Yep, and Sithams and I, mainly Sithams, made the write-up pretty much yesterday after all the meetings.
Okay, we'll look at that at the next meeting. Easy clap.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But yeah, that was a point of talking for a few other meetings as well, since it is going to interact with a few other things.
And what of your mighty meeting, Corey?
Yes, quite mighty. We talked about basically what we need to do is prioritize what needs to be worked on, and we kind of went into a couple subjects of the many that need to be discussed. So what needs to happen is kind of what we did before, where we broke things up into sub categories. So gathering will need to be its own thing. Mundane crafting, masterwork crafting, all these things will kind of need to be their own thing if you actually want to make some progress on them. Homebrew department, I guess that's kind of in a weird spot. Not sure what we want to do with that, because it as its own department, it doesn't really have that many unique things in itself, because everything is either working with other departments or that's really it. There's a few things like pets, for instance. I think that's would mostly fall under there, but yeah, Homebrew is kind of in a weird spot for what that is. So there might be some, I don't know, restructuring as far as how Homebrew as a department is.
Send along to balance or whatnot.
Yeah, we'll see though.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where that is. I would say, look, soon I'll be putting something out to see who wants to kind of take lead on these sub areas.
Yes, indeed. As I believe you mentioned that you were stepping down from certain head roles and just focusing on your department, or not department, your leadership role for director.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Just hand the departments over to someone.
So yes, soon there'll be discussion on that. That can be had Monday. Anything from your meetings, my good shrub?
Would you mind saying the names of the departments, please?
In what circumstance?
Like asking about Shrub's meeting and saying what department Shrub is in.
Yeah, RP events for this one, and for Corey's, it was Homebrew and Economy. So for our meeting, it was primarily going over structure and getting opinions on a couple of the things that we were looking into doing. One of those things is the encounter system that was briefly talked about. Essentially, some things in the world will trigger random encounter tables. Let's say you go off of the safe path in a dangerous location, there's a chance you could be attacked by a creature or something else could happen. Regardless, those events will be handled by some group that we're still deciding on. We gauged, interest and got opinions based on the people in our team. We're talking with political about parts of that. We're starting to go over, training details and getting people assigned to various things. We also briefly discussed that we're looking to move away from player levels for the majority of NPCs and switching them to mob stat blocks instead. Besides that, there wasn't really much except for internal structure discussions that aren't too important for this kind of meeting.
Mm-hmm. And what of the divinity team, Zakarag?
It's been mostly me writing up stuff, getting lore from you and JC, and I have a meeting scheduled for this week on Thursday now.
Very nice. And I believe for you, Chrono, you have yet to set up your meeting, but perhaps soon.
There's yet to be a balance meeting.
Mm-hmm. But discussions shall be had. Yes, indeed. What of the training systems?
The TLDR is that it's basically going to be the same. We're going to update a couple terminologies as far as, there's going to be no more DM tiers. It's going to be like junior DM and senior DM, just to represent people who are comfortable or have shown ability to run higher tier content or higher story impact content. That's basically it for training.
Fair enough. All right. I might be derping here, but I'm pretty sure that's all the departments that had meetings.
There's also technically the tech meeting where we talked about how we're going to have a website and there'll be things on the website. Wow.
Mm-hmm. I probably forgot about that because that's considered a director role, not a department head role. Yeah. Anyways, excellent. Yes, tech stuff is important, especially what we plan to do. From there, I know that there has been some work in terms of the regions. Anything of note that we should know about our good region heads?
For free marches, building a lot from the ground up, anyone who wants to help out is free to help out in the free marches channel.
Yeah, I mean, if you have interest in helping out in any of the regions, feel free to contact the relevant region head. They should be marked in the description for each of the regions, so it's easy enough to figure out who is leading each of those different regions. I will say that Calabash itself is, as I'm sure Manny is full aware at this point, heavily been worked on by myself already, so it's a lot of more of intricate details. But, it still has some things that I have not done myself either, so. And a lot of what I have done is more of like my personal private notes rather than things on paper, so it's not as beneficial at the moment, but hopefully that'll change soon. All right. Anything people feel the need to bring up? Anything of note?
Aside from the fact that I, as mentioned during the political meeting, I want to end up talking with the various region heads about factions and the like. I don't think there's anything that I really have to mention.
I think there was one thing that was missed mentioning about the economy meeting. We had discussed the idea of a player-run economy versus an NPC run, and we decided to go with a nice, even mixture of both.
It's definitely based on. It's not based on players. Players are involved, but it's not. It
has influences of both systems, but it is certainly a core NPC-based structure with influences from players through like custom crafting and whatnot.
And I think moving forward, we're going to slowly move towards player run, but that's like years from now, probably.
Well,
So yeah,
again, that's up to
player base. Yeah,
that's up to Nerf's world. It's like
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
But yes, the regions are the regions of Arendelle, which is the Moon Elven Empire on the western continent of Lashulte. You have Bruges, which is a Transylvanian-esque vampire-centric realm within the eastern continent of Hakuda. You have Kalbash, which is the land of bards, kingdom of heroes and adventurers within the western continent of Lashulte. Doladur Isle is a Cthulhu-esque horror wild magic style island far off the eastern coast of Hakuda. Eldiria is the realm of the Dragonborn Empire. It is a holy kingdom that sends crusades into Bruges. And Free Marches is a land of city-states and trade, small like trade empires. I wouldn't really call them empires, but like big city with maybe a few smaller townships that might pay homage to the big city, but it's really a lot of big city-states that matter. And I would think of Free Marches as you would of the Free Marches from Dragon Age, as they're fairly similar in base concept.
A bunch of city-states that kind of just don't like each other, but also are forced to like each other, because if they don't, they all explode.
It's a thing.
Stuff like the trade leagues.
Yep, trade leagues and all that. But those are the regions. This meeting was pretty straightforward, just going over things. I didn't have anything important to drop down as a overarching Living World Director thingy. So at this point, we are in the Q&A. If anyone have any questions, we are free to answer that. But otherwise, I think we are good to go.
I got one thing to mention, not really Q&A, but since folks are here, when we have our next homebrew meeting, I'll talk to JC or lore keepers, but I'd like to have the help there, so we know as we're going through the homebrew what is, lore happy and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll answer a question I saw in chat. I did type it out, but for the training stuff with the senior DMs and stuff, there's no experience. Like, you don't have to run 100 games in Syrik or whatever to qualify for senior DM spot. It's just, hey, I think I can do this. You show us that you can do it. You're good. And if you feel you need training for it, we can also help you with that as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Training team is here to help.
That's where the whole co-DM stuff we were talking about.
They are very good at their job, yes.
Yes.
Training team, best department. Processing, not so much. Processing is a hellhole. We don't talk about
whoa,
processing.
Whoa, shots fired.
That's the meme channel, okay? You will respect it as such.
I respect no meme.
You're gone. You're done.
So if you're not in a specific department, you just have the general volunteer tag. So essentially, that would be what you're looking at there. Or I'm assuming that you are talking about yourself, or you're just asking in general. Which case, the answer is still general volunteer. It just covers if you're willing to help out in any real area. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions or the like?
Frozen Goggles asked about the status of the civilian system.
No, I didn't say that because it was hidden by the @ status of the civilian system, it's still being looked at.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
We aren't moving forward with anything until we decide what we're doing about player cap, and that is going to be discussed in the adventure meeting tomorrow, possibly. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct.
All right, then that is the status.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Quick thing that I just remembered. There will likely be an administration meeting, so leadership and department heads and all that good stuff. Monday prior to the adventure meeting, I believe, if I remember scheduling correctly. And this will probably be discussing things such as community projects such as the Minecraft server that's been worked on, or movie nights, game nights, maybe some more Among Us games that we ran at one time not too long ago. things of that nature.
Yeah.
We had a poll, so.
Yeah, admin meeting is at 5 p.m. on Monday, by the way.
Yeah.
An hour before the adventure meeting.
5 p.m. CST. Yeah.
Yeah, CST.
The
I cry.
Yeah, the
I
times and
cry
meeting
and working
times.
on Mondays. Pet my hams.
They're auto converted, so use it. Use the channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want to switch over to look at it to make sure I knew.
Yeah, no, I get
I'm
it.
recording. But yeah, that is the thing I remembered to say. Anything else?
This is kind of a minor note, but considering a new version of Map Tools came out today, people are reporting having problems with it. Try uninstalling the old version first and then installing.
Yes, I'll be testing out in my game today. I'll be posting them in a moment, letting them know that they should update. JC's already here, so they know to update to see how well it runs.
We're out of 1.93.
Yep.
Wait, we're updating for Syrik today?
Yep, so 1.10.
Yeah.
I don't even
Wait,
know.
Really?
My home game on
he-
Sunday is going to update.
Yeah, his personal game is updating. He's going to test it out, and then we're going to see if we want to use the new version for the living world. Though odds are, by the time that we actually open up, there will be several more new versions.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
So, yeah, I will say, as I did mention in Council General, a friend of mine commented that some of their friends in another server were having problems with it that include errors on loading and requiring Task Manager to close it. So,
Yeah.
but just keep in mind that that's third-hand information. So
I'll see how it
I
goes.
haven't experienced any of it. I don't think he's experienced any of it yet. Just keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate change. I hate having to update every 2 goddamn weeks.
It's fair. That's why I prefer to just have one major update and stick with it for a couple months or so, and then if another one comes out with really good content, then we can switch over. Yeah, previously it was just easier to say update when it comes out, because people might.
This is why
update.
This is why I always update to a new folder, so I have the old ones.
Yes, of course.
Yes, indeed. That is the smart thing to do, which I do not do.
But you can only do that once.
No, that's not true.
Yeah. Because if you try to launch the old exe after you downgrade, if you don't update it to the new folder, then you can't use the argument when it's been a few months since the last update. Shut the hell up, Cryptic. What it does is it just gives you the option to repair. It doesn't give you the option to download it to a new folder again. So
yeah. Anyways, yes.
I have 4 different folders that fully function, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No. I'm dumb, and when I first updated to 1.9.3, I put it in a new folder, and then I accidentally deleted the folder, and then I tried to do it again, and it didn't give me the option. It instead brought up the setup repair, so it only gave me the option to uninstall Map Tools or to repair it to another version. So,
rip.
It's just how the installer works.
Anyways, that is the meeting. Appreciate all your faces, all the help you provide, and all that good stuff. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, evening, etc.
Yeah, good meeting.
Yeah.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Good meeting, head pats for you all. Take care.
Yeah.
No, I deny your head pat.